Guys doing? Yesterday we streamed together. It was I believe it was Jinxie, I guess. Right. So today we are going to be watching this together. Not this. Absolutely not this, bro. The hell? Yeah, we're gonna be watching this together, ranking all 39 evolutions from the worst to the best. Jinxie, we're gonna watch this together today. I hope y'all enjoy it, and I hope y'all enjoy it with me. Um, and yeah, let's hop into it, bro. Let's go.
But chat, if you're on the fence about what Evo you should buy next, or like if you're about to get your first Evo, or if you need an Evo for your deck, this is the best video for you. It's by Invader, bro. Invader's a top player, so it's gonna be great.
All right, let's go.
In Clash Royale from worst to best. We finally no longer have Goblin Drill as the worst evolution.
I agree. Goblin Giant, I'm gonna be honest, I complain about him more than anybody. They over nerfed this card. Do not buy this. Like, this is a waste of money. You could
What happened to the Goblin Giant?
or $12 bill, that doesn't exist. You could
Evolution in Clash
And it would be
Royale.
better
The
spent than
Goblin
this.
Giant is
This
sitting
card is
here at the throne. I'll give him at 39. It's awful. It's awful. Goblin Giant, ever since he got 3 whopping nerfs, and that last meta was just Giant and Golem and Lava being the main beatdown units. Goblin Giant's just put on the shelf. He probably didn't need 3 different nerfs the last time we balanced him, but the Clash Royale team decides that
I
instead of
100% agree.
seeing broken cards and nerfing the broken cards to nerf a deck, we're just going to nerf the win condition. And yeah, he's dead now. Raw stats don't show the whole picture. Barbarians have
Okay, so the Goblin Giant got nerfed. That's why it's not good anymore. All right.
better stats than a few of the cards on this list, but
Barbarians.
if a card is used in like 2 decks and that deck performs well, it kind of performs well regardless of how that Evo is doing, but it makes the Evo look better. That's exactly
Yeah,
what's
I think Barbarians, the biggest problem isn't even the evolutions necessary. Barbarians, the biggest problem is just the Barbarians themselves. Like, it's just too expensive. They don't attack air. They're so susceptible to, like, spells. It's just,
going on.
do not buy Barbs. It's a
Nobody
waste
in their right mind just sits down and says, hey, I want to put the Barbs Evo in my deck, because Barbs aren't even that good to begin with, and especially in metas where, you know, there's a lot of ghosts, there's
exactly
a
what
lot
I
of
just
splash,
said.
Facts. The ghost wipes them. And yeah, and a spell wipes them as well. So like,
for Barbarians. Ice Spirit is
facts.
one of the like staples of cycle decks that just kind of stopped getting used as the Evo. There are so many different options now that when you think about putting an Evo in your deck, the Ice Spirit is no longer a guarantee. It used to be super high use rate because all of the cycle decks would be like, oh, I'm using Ice Spirit and there's not that many Evos in the game, so I'll use the Ice Spirit Evo. That's not the case anymore. There's 38 other really good Evos to pick with, and when you're playing Ghost Evo in so many different decks right now, you kind of just leave out the Ice Spirit, and that
makes sense.
The Ice Spirit also has a 45% win rate in all of Ultimate.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Ice Spirit, if you only use it without an evolution, I mean, I think that it makes sense. No, I think it do. It does.
That is really bad. Bats kind of fell out of the meta as minions got buffed, and I think I really like the minions buff. Honestly, I can see how they're a bit oppressive, and they were definitely broken. They've been toned down a little bit now, but you can see the minions are just a better, more consistent version of bats. So if minions are being used over bats, bats aren't even going to be used. Regardless, is their Evo going to be used? So bats aren't being used at all. Their Evo isn't being used at all. And when it does get used, it's all right. But you'd rather save an Evo slot and use a stronger card in the minions. Now the Goblin Joel Evo did get better. It's no longer the worst Evo in the game because it has more goblins that spawn on the the re-submerge.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
That's the right word, of the 2nd and 3rd goblin drills. So now you're getting more goblins, getting a chance for more damage.
wouldn't
However,
recommend buying
it doesn't
it,
make the drill that good because, again, the same problem with the Ice Spirit. There's so many different Evos to pick. You're
Yeah.
guaranteed to probably use Snowball with your
Facts.
or with
I
your
mean,
goblin drill decks because it's just
I
it
wonder
helps
what he's
you
gonna
more.
have at
And also,
one.
Cannon is just usually used in most drill decks and is way better than the Evo.
but I think like the drill is actually good. No. Well, actually, I'm not a good Clash Royale player, so that's why like I'm not commenting a lot. But like, bro, I think the evil drill is not bad. Like if your opponent only placed skeletons and ice spirit or something, or maybe if you are getting more elixir than him or something. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, but I think there are a lot of better evolutions for sure.
Well, so even though the drill got buffed, it's still the odd man out. Now P.E.K.K.A is being like used as a card again. It's honestly not even used as an Evo that often. You have P.E.K.K.A bridge spam decks with the addition of the Evo Ghost now having Battle Ram and Ghost in their decks, and P.E.K.K.A is just kind of left out. And P.E.K.K.A doesn't really.
Yeah,
It's like
I feel like the biggest problem with P.E.K.K.A Evo is like a lot of Evos in the game make themselves stronger against what they're weaker at, but like the Evo P.E.K.K.A doesn't get any better. Like he still just gets rolled by Swarm. I don't know. Evo P.E.K.K.A is just
Yeah, bro. Like the evil P.E.K.K.A maybe it has a lot like a little bit more of health, and maybe it damages more than the normal one. But bro, if you only put like swarms, as he said, or like any skarmy and stuff, you're just gonna get rolled and like you feel me. So and the only way people even like let's say in general, the only way people defend P.E.K.K.A is with swarms. Like you can't just defend it with what mini P.E.K.K.A. Of course not. So like the same the same thing in both of them. Like the same in the normal one and in the Evo one. So it didn't get any better.
it's a good card list. Again, I wouldn't recommend buying any of these opening like 10 or 15 Evos. Like actually,
its heal is, maybe if you're going up against beatdown, it'll heal against more thick units, it'll heal more impactfully. The majority of the time, you're going to heal like 5 HP
yep.
against some, mediocre mid-sized unit or some cheap unit. It's not worth
Chat,
it.
imagine they made Evo P.E.K.K.A where he like does splash for like his first shot or something. I don't know, that would be hilarious.
Usually the value
Yeah.
of
Probably a terrible
Evo
idea.
P.E.K.K.A you'll get out of a normal P.E.K.K.A, and it's more impactful to use the other better evolutions. Bomber isn't awful, but again, it's another victim of the raw stats. Bomber's win percentage is like really high, and it's just kind of because it's used in like 1 or 2 decks. Both of which are really good against mid-ladder players and for climbing. So obviously you're going to see win percentages like just you can't base your whole thing off win percentages. Bomber is not really that impactful, isn't very versatile, and although does some cool things.
Yeah, the reason why you can't base everything off win percentage is if a card is actually incredibly good, like for example skeletons. Skeletons are going to be in so many different decks, so its win percentage is going to be like stagnant. You know what I mean? Because skeletons can fit into 40 decks, so like it's going to be its win percentage is going to be dead down the middle, but it's still like top like 10 card in the game just because it's so versatile.
Is being propped up by the
Facts.
fact that its deck in Giant Prince is really good, and you don't have another Evo to play outside of the Bomber, so you just use the Bomber. Hunter is a decent Evo. The problem being that, again, with the Evo Ghost being, no spoiler, well, spoilers, the Evo Ghost, okay, no spoilers, but the Evo Ghost being better than the Hunter, the RG being better than the Hunter, you once again have, okay, this isn't a terrible Evo, but that being said, there are
Bro, the lava hound doesn't die, bro. Damn.
instead of the Hunter. Doesn't
Again,
mean
I would
horrible,
never buy the
but
Evo
paired with
Hunter.
not really having that much versatility, you'd rather just use the other Evos, and he gets
I
left
wonder
out
where he's
again.
gonna put the
Now, the
Witch.
Wizard is one of the
The
first
Witch is
Evos
really
on the
good.
list so far that doesn't have that issue where he's being used in decks with
Okay,
better
now
Evos.
the Wizard you could buy. If you actually use the Wizard in your main deck, you have him high enough level, you could buy. I think the Wizard performs really well in mid ladder too because like a lot of them like don't like they just give it too much value. Like I feel like a lot of mid ladder players are the type of people to like fireball a Wizard like when it's Evo, which literally does nothing because all it does is take off the shield. I think Evo Wizard is the first Evo on this list where you can actually buy it. And like it's not a perform idea.
Evos, he just sucks. Like with the Wizard Evo, the shield is
The wizard is at 31. I don't know, bro. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Well, I don't play wizard, and I don't like it, and I hate it. And I hate when somebody plays it against me. But like, I don't know. I don't see. Like I think it's a good like. Yeah, maybe there is better. Yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah.
nice. It gets kind of a pain in the ass
But
to
I don't
fill,
know.
but you also have to use the normal wizard. So the wizard
Yeah.
evo would be a lot better if you didn't have to use
The
the
Oh,
biggest
normal
problem with
one
using the
shot.
wizard is the wizard. Yeah, I agree.
wizard because he's awful and usually way too expensive for what he does most of the time. Although his evo will do some cool things sometimes, again, you have to play with the normal wizard. So Dark Goblin is pretty unique because although he does suffer the same, well, there's
The
a lot of
Dart
evos that
Goblin OT?
something other than him. He
What?
is really good as a base card.
Yeah, I agree. The Evo Dark Goblin is incredible, but I feel like all of the decks he's in, you have to use the other Evos, like the Evo Wall Breakers, the Evo Goblin Barrels, the Evo Valkyries. Like, I don't know, I just feel like he's always in these broken decks, Evo Scouting Barrel, Evo Mortar, where like you have to use him. But he is good.
There's almost no reason to not use his base card because he gets so much value and because the Evo, while it's nice sometimes, is pretty niche and you're better off sticking with maybe a Valk Evo and a Barrel Evo in your bait deck.
That's what I said.
Ghost version of the deck. And so the Dark Goblin, he does the same thing he usually does, just get crazy amounts of value as a base card. He doesn't need his Evo, so that's why he's not one of the better Evos in the game. Next up are Archers, and although they are pretty easy to take
Oh.
out, if you catch somebody by surprise or if you set up the right scenario, you are going to get a ton of value out of the Evo Archers, and they're always a card that your opponent needs to be prepared for. The problem being it's really easy to take them out, especially if your opponent's running arrows or if you don't play them really, really well. You see them shine in Expo and pretty much nowhere else,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because like the Wizard, you've got to use the normal Archers, and unfortunately, wet paper towel shooting isn't the best form of damage. The Knight Evo is...
The
let's just
Knight?
say he got phased out by the Ghost. There is only... well, this is wrong if you take advice from mid-ladder players. There's only usually room for one mini tank in your deck. One being, you could use hybrid, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Valkyrie, Knight, Dark Prince, Royal Ghost. So people are just starting to play the Royal Ghost because it's the most broken Evo in the game. Then are we going to use the Knight?
Okay, he
No.
said Ghost 9 times. I have a theory of what he's going to say is number one.
Oh, so maybe he's not that bad of an Evo, but the stats have notably...
Yeah, the number one is
the
just
Ghost is
Ghost.
better in every way. The Knight, still a jack of all trades, still versatile, but come on, he can't compare to the Evo Ghost. And I promise now we are moving out of the, oh, he just says everything's based off the Evo Ghost. The Furnace Evo kind of got nerfed to the ground, and honestly, there hasn't been that big of a reason for him falling off. He just got nerfed like 4 times. So he got nerfed 4 times. The meta is kind of like not as baby anymore. You
He
don't
used
really
to be
need
number
the
1
Furnace.
Evo.
The normal broken Furnace isn't as broken as it once was. So the Furnace and the Evo Furnace getting significant nerfs just kind of knocked him down a lot. And he's also being replaced by other ranged units. So, if there's like stuff like...
Wow, bro, the Evil Furnace was good.
Need this card. He doesn't
I'm
need
watching,
that much
it was
on
perfect.
your deck, so most people just aren't using the Furnace anymore. Now the Goblin Barrel is a pretty solid, win condition.
Yo, Uzumaki Naruto.
Goblin Barrel is a pretty solid, win condition.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get to the point to where buying if you buy an Evo Goblin Barrel, it's not a terrible purchase. The first 10 Evos were all probably pretty terrible to buy. We're getting to the point to where now the Evos starting to get a little bit better.
Times the problem is it's really easy to take out, and bait is not the greatest thing in the meta right now, which is kind of just, we could sit here and go for a while about why bait isn't the best thing in the meta. It's just not good in the meta, and obviously if your win condition isn't that good, you can't rank the win condition that high. You can still outplay people with bait, especially as you're climbing up the ranks, but as you get to the top ladder, there's just more and more counters to it. It's honestly just not in the great spot right now, so Goblin Barrel, therefore, directly not in a great spot. Royal Recruits are a
Okay.
Evo that
Real Recruits. I don't play it. I don't play.
But recruits
Oh, they speed up.
that great in the meta right now. You have a lot of swarm. You have a lot swarm counters. You have a lot of splash cards in the meta. You have a lot of anti-recruit decks in the meta, and so therefore we aren't seeing very much recruits in the meta, which is a little bit of a surprise given that we were like, oh, Evo Hoggies. That's kind of it. They're kind of not even being used. It's mainly Cajun recruits that are used in that deck that you probably know what I'm talking about. You probably face recruits if you're in like league, like the Grand Champion League a ton. But I mean, honestly, they're not that hard to deal with right now because most of the meta does counter them, and so
Yep.
again, you
All
can
right,
see that
all right, all right, all right, all right, all
she's
right.
kind of mid right now. The
No, the
Firecracker is nice. I
firecracker.
love her because I
What?
think she's really easy to take out.
The
She's
firecracker is at
very
24? How is that
and
even possible?
it's definitely still
What?
reeling from the nerf that it got to the 3-card cycle because it was a lot better before the nerf. And of course, this is situational. I've mentioned when playing the deck in a video that I think that the 3-card cycle being gone is good for like mid ladder and stuff, but for top ladder cycling versus cycle deck stuff like that, it gets a lot harder. Firecracker's just, she's never going to be one of the best evolutions of the game because of how easy she is to take out. She gets decent value sometimes, so she's all right. Musketeer as a ranged card is just better than the Firecracker. Gets more consistent.
Wow.
Is able to outplay easier and more because she's able to snipe things like without you having to worry. The only thing you have to worry about, I guess, is somebody blocking something. But she is easier to use against countering buildings, counters from across the
Wow.
arena, and she's pretty consistent. The one issue with her being that you kind of have to play her a certain way to get the Evo to work properly, and so sometimes you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to
Yeah,
wait.
she definitely takes some brain cells to use. I feel like a lot of Evos don't take any brain cells to use. You just put them down and the card does its magic. But like, if you put the Evo Musketeer into Skeletons, you're probably just trash. You know what I mean? Like,
Facts.
it does take some skill. Probably more skill than most Evos.
It's an Evo Musk because you have to, usually when you're playing Evo Musk, you're going to have to cycle a lot of Musks as your main DPS card, which is why you see plays or decks like 2.6 not running Evo Musk because they're oftentimes not going to be able to use her properly. Now the Tesla Evo is, not bad. It's a
Oh,
good, solid building
the
card.
Tesla Evo is
I would
good.
actually throw this a little bit higher. I think Mo said it's like his favorite building too. I would throw this in like the top 15. I mean, Tesla Evo's really good.
Yeah, I've tried that.
More than the Canon
It's so good.
Where
I think Canon Evo is probably harder to use though. Definitely has a higher skill ceiling, but maybe higher EV on it, like expected value or whatever.
we have to rank the Evos in order, and we're starting to get where all these Evos they're good, they're decent. Just some are better than the others, and it being 22 doesn't make it bad. The Tesla Evo is just not as good
None
as
of these
some
are
of the other
bad.
counterparts. It's a great building Evo, and honestly, I mean, there are probably better options to use in certain cycle decks, but you see plenty of Evo Tesla and Expo and Drill and things like that, and it can get a lot of value situationally. So not a bad Evo. I probably wouldn't buy it, but I mean, it's not a bad Evo. Now, Lumberjack is really good, but he's limited by the amount of decks he fits in, so obviously you're not going to see the versatility of another mini tank role like we've talked about.
Yes.
Not as good as
Lumberjack. Another example of like very good card, but very niche. You only see him in like Lumber Moon, and rarely will you see him in like a gold Lumberjack.
Knight, not as well.
Well,
The Knight Evo,
maybe, yeah.
Usually, when you're running mini tank, you go
Wow.
for your mini P.E.K.K.A for damage, or you go Dark Prince for the shield, or you go.
That was a crazy push.
Your Ghost
I think the
Evo.
reason why the Lumberjack is such a niche card is because how fast he is. Because like the Knight keeps up with a lot of troops, the Valkyrie keeps up with a lot of troops. Like you can combo graveyards with it. I mean, if you tried to use Graveyard Lumberjack, it would just be a disaster. He doesn't have that much health. He moves at like the speed of a hog rider. He's just too awkward. Like he only really works with
Golden Knight. Okay, we'll move on from blaming everything on the Ghost. Lumberjack, he's good in beatdown decks. Gets a ton of value. Good in Lumber Loon. You always have to worry about him. He's an extra thing you have to worry about, and he can get a lot of extra damage, kill some extra cards. Pretty decent Evo in select decks. The Border Evo has seen a bit of a comeback. It kind of like went from, this is one of the most broken things in the game, to, God, this is completely unusable, to now it's a decent Evo. It's decent. It's usable in the meta. It's not the worst thing ever. Mortar has seen better days, but Mortar is extremely viable right now. It's not one of the better decks in the game, but it's viable. You can win with it if you know what you're doing. And Mortar Evo plays a big part in that. It transforms a card that does basically nothing to something that can end the game with just one lock on the tower.
If you're on the fence about a deck to upgrade, I think Mortar might be the best deck to upgrade because, like, first off, it's a common card. Second, Mortar is never game-breaking, but it's also never out of the meta. Like, I think it's really dumb to, like, spend a bunch of money on a deck where, like, it's going to be nerfed in a week. The Mortar, it's never at the top of the meta. It's never at the bottom of the meta. A lot of the decks in Mortar are also commons, like Goblin Gang, Bats, Skeleton Barrel.
I mean, that's true.
I think Mortar's probably, if you're free to play, it's probably the best deck to level up.
Or so.
Bro, in my opinion,
dealing with really
oh,
it's limited because
Megan,
defense doesn't do that much on offense, to be honest. But there are ways to do the same defense that you do on
oh,
offense.
look at
Evos really
that.
are the
Oh my
most
god,
valuable
bro. The
Evo,
Mega
and
Knight is
that's why
crazy,
he's actually
bro.
one of the best Evos in the game.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say,
Dragon is
I was
one of
gonna
the
say
better
that,
Evos in the game, and honestly, it has a really
I
high
was gonna say
ceiling.
that,
Yes, it's skill ceiling. No, it just sits there. It has a really
wow,
high
look at
ceiling
that.
in the
Look at
fact
that,
that
bro.
it can just
Look at
pull
that
you into the game.
melting,
There
bro.
are times, however, when iDrag is just going to go up against like
Whoa.
bait decks and cycle decks, and it's going to get absolutely no value. And there are times, of course, when it can get to the tower, but other times when it just gets completely countered and it's like, dang, this is really a waste of an Evo. It did absolutely nothing. So really high ceiling and really, really low floor for the iDrag Evo, which is why
Very
it's
matchup
ranked
dependent.
higher. We've got Diddy, baby, and the
Mhm.
Diddy cage, honestly, pretty similar to the iDrag in the fact that not the skill ceiling again,
Oh,
but the
damn.
value ceiling of the card is like way up there. It can get crazy amounts of value, like counter entire P.E.K.K.A, entire E-Giant, entire Golem. The floor is the floor, and the
Wow, the
floor is
P.E.K.K.A
doing absolutely
got.
nothing that the normal cage wouldn't do, especially now that they changed the final two Evos that had stat buffs, the Valk and the cage, to not have stat buffs anymore. So he's never going to do anything special, even if the cage doesn't do anything. So it depends on the deck and depends on the matchup, but it can't be higher than this just because there are matchups where the cage will do literally nothing. Evo Skellies are a pretty solid Evo that are a definitely
Oh,
more valuable
Larry.
than most
All right,
Evos
chat, we're almost into the top 15 here out of 39 Evos. Starting to get good.
in the game.
Larry.
You
They're
have
really
the
good.
potential to apply massive, massive amounts of pressure, get crazy
Bro, I
defense
would say
without
this, like, the Evo skeletons have the potential, and always will, have the potential of being the best bailout in the game. Bro, the Evo skeletons are probably the only part of the game where you can actually be down 9 elixir and defend with them if your opponent doesn't have, like, a mini spell, like a zap or an arrow.
Facts.
Because even if they have arrows, they have to overspend. But, like, dude, the Evo skellies can get you the craziest defenses of all time.
value.
Larry.
They're not just
Sorry.
super easy to play. You can't just plop them down. You have to, usually tank for them with something or wait for the right opportunity when your opponent doesn't have the right
You gotta
counter
keep
or
track of
spell in
cycle,
hand.
yeah.
And so it's a bit hard to get value out of them, but when they do, it's insane value usually, and you're always going to get more value than what you paid for, given they're only one elixir. I feel like Battle Ram may be ranked a little bit higher than it actually is, but statistically speaking, Battle Ram is one of the
Wow.
best Evos in Clash Royale, especially against these players.
Why did the Battle Ram just kill the goblins? Is that actually what it does against goblins?
I've only knew that right now, to be
I
honest.
feel
Not
like
gonna
Battle
lie.
Ram may be ranked a little bit higher than it actually is, but statistically
Battle Ram kills. What? How did I not know this?
speaking, Battle
Ram kills goblins? Since when? Since when? That's actually kind of good.
Ram is one of the best
Wow.
Facts.
Clash Royale,
I guess I never used
especially
goblins.
against these players as you're pushing up the Ultimate Champion, as you're pushing up to the Trophy Road. It's a solid Evo on top ladder as well.
Dude, I never have to worry about Battle Ram because I use Bowler, which is literally like the hardest counter ever to Battle Ram. It's hilarious.
Bowling,
These
bowling,
P.E.K.K.A rich spam decks are
bowling,
honestly just rich spam
bowling.
decks even without the P.E.K.K.A. The thing being, if you know what you're doing and you set up an Evo Battle Ram correctly, boom, you win the entire game. Like, the thing that the Evo Battle Ram adds to bridge spam decks is irreplaceable. Like, you're able to win matchups you have no business winning just off of the Evo Battle Ram and setting up a correct Evo Battle Ram positioning. So you cannot understate how much value this Evo gives you, even if it's not used as much as other Evos that are below it on the tier list. It can win you the entire game.
All right,
straight
top
up.
15.
Evo Snowball is honestly
Oh,
there's a lot of decks that
I
use
have the
this
Evil
Evo
Snowball.
Snowball in
It's
it.
so
Right,
good.
The worst thing about the Evo Snowball, and I've been using this card on and off for like 8 months, is it only fits into 2 decks, bro. In like top ladder, like top 2,000, 3,000, normally where I'm at, Evo Snow only gets used in Drill and Giant Graveyard. That is literally it. Occasionally
Facts.
in that Battle Ram boss battle deck, like that Bruce Spam deck. That's it.
Which is why it's not
Excellent.
ranked in the top 10. But Evo Snowball, especially with things like Drill, is so strong because you're able to just, not even on offense, strictly talk about the defensive value. You're going to bail yourself out of crazy defensive situations.
Wow.
You just get immense I tried to say amazing and immense at the same time. Value out of this card that you definitely shouldn't be. Like, it's the definition of a bailout. You can get yourself out of a crazy defensive
Dude, I want to know
situation.
where he's going to put
You
Witch.
can get
I
yourself
feel like
some
he's going to
damage
put
you
Witch
probably don't have
really
business
high,
getting.
like top
Really
5.
strong spell evo.
I love
Next
the
up is the E-Drag, one of the Electro Dragon's highest ranking.
Yeah, alright, so I just want to say this. Now that we're getting into like the top 15, if you buy any of these, that's totally fine. Like, the Evo E-Dragon is...
Bro, the Evo E-Dragon is,
if you're
yeah,
an Evo player, you need the Evo E-Dragon.
it's
Like,
disgustingly good.
this card is gross, bro. You can't... If you buy any of the Evos in the top 15, I don't think it's possible to go wrong.
Lately,
Look at that, bro.
surprising, but the
Look at that,
really
bro.
good in a select few decks like Golem, like
Wow.
E-Golem, Lumberloon. There's other decks like the Pong Guys, Ram Rider deck where E-Drag is just
Look at that value, bro. Look at the value, bro.
really underrated.
Look at the value, man.
You could argue
Damn.
lower on the list, and you probably have a fair argument for that. But it's
Oh yeah, a
it's
musketeer.
so easy to play. It's just so easy to play to counter beatdown decks. If beatdown's in the meta, E-Drag gets better. It's just such a broken fundamental concept where you just, things close to each other, things die. That's how it works. Only thing that can stop it is a lightning or a stun to reset the chain of the E-Drag. Really strong Evo. Again, you can probably argue it lower, but right now in the current beatdown meta and just type of
I think
decks
that's a
that are
good
in the meta,
ranking for it.
E-Drag gets crazy value, and also it's really good
This guy's got
control,
ball knowledge,
which is
bro.
really good. Next up is the Evo.
Oh, the witch on 12?
I think, but that's
If you're new to Summoners,
Not gonna lie, I thought...
start putting all your gold into
Stop.
Go get your
I thought the witch will be higher. No cap.
I don't know. I think the Witch is... I was going to say like top 5, but maybe
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
biased.
fact, same.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like the Witch is better than top 12.
kind of just based on the meta. She's
Same.
really
I
good.
thought she's gonna be higher.
Good in very few decks right now.
This is
That's
fair,
kind
though.
of the problem. But she's really hard to kill, especially with some of the decks that are being run in the meta right now. There's a lot of things that are just like, oh dang, this is kind of hard. I can't really kill the Witch. She just sits there and gets crazy amounts of value. Giant Graveyard seeing a bit of a comeback. Witch is just sitting there. She's kind of
Sorry.
waiting for the meta to settle, and then she's gonna find her spots. But being a really hard Evo to kill, being pretty versatile for most of the ladder meta. Trophy Road and Ultimate Champion, whatever it may be, which really strong. Zap is a top 3 most used Evo in all of Clash Royale. I could be corrected, it might be 4, I forget, with a 13% use rate in all of
Good
Ultimate Champion.
God.
There's a reason for this, and I think there is a valid argument to say it's better than Snowball because of the double damage, the double stun, the ability to pair it with other spells. I say this literally every ranking video. The ability to pair it with other spells to... That monitor keeps shutting off, and it is pissing me off. Don't know what it is, but I probably... Oh, jiggle the cable. The Zap, you pair it with, you know, Fireball, you kill E-Drags. You pair it with Fireball, you kill Queens. You pair it with Fireball, you kill 3 Musketeers. You
Facts.
pair it with, you just by itself, it kills Dark Goblins, Firecrackers, Minions. There's just so many things you can do with the Zap, so many different decks that can run the Zap. Mainly beatdown decks, but also
Yeah,
bridge
Evo
spam
Zap's
decks and
really
things
good.
like that.
Can't
So
go wrong
you're
with
always
that.
going to get value out of this.
Probably, in my opinion, a top 3 Evo to buy if you're looking for an Evo to buy because it fits
The
in
Zap?
so many decks.
Wow.
It rarely ever gets moved out of the meta or into a meta.
Sorry.
It's always at the top of the meta. Like, it's just always going to be around, bro. You physically, it's like the safest purchase.
The Zap. It's never not going to get value, and it sometimes can change the entire course of the game. Skeleton Barrel Evo, really, really strong still, especially with bait decks, very certain bait decks.
Yeah, I mean, this thing just got a nerf, like, as of 2 hours ago, so maybe that'll move the ranking out a little bit. It's still a good card. It takes 4 brain cells to use. You just put it out the bridge every time it's in your hand. It's like, I hate this card so much, but it is really good.
Good in the meta, and I point to a specific Royal Ghost Rascals bait deck where Skeleton Barrel is just really strong. And Skeleton Barrel has a few decks.
Bro, I think Invader, like, goons to the Royal Ghost. He's literally said Royal Ghost, like, 18 times.
Really good in, but it's just that double impact damage, extra skeleton.
He does.
You can't ignore this thing at all, and it does require you to be more careful and more well-timed with the response to it. So a lot more can go wrong, and a lot more can go right. As the user of the Skelly Barrel, it's oftentimes going to get crazy amounts of value for just 3 elixir. Now, Wallbreakers did get that nerf, but don't let that fool you. They are still an extremely strong Evo for only 2 elixir. How the hell do I counter these things? Don't even start, like, you can't do it for 2 elixir or less. You can't, like, counter them at all, like, for most.
Yeah, bro, name one like, I'll give you a challenge. Name one 2 elixir card that can full counter the wall breakers. Spoiler alert, you can't. Snowball doesn't counter the Evo wall breakers. Log doesn't counter the Evo wall breakers. Zap doesn't counter the Evo wall breakers. I'm pretty sure even Evo Zap doesn't counter the Evo wall breakers. The only way to stop these things is to overspend, which is why it's such a good Evo.
Definitely got to have
Hmm.
a spirit log ready and well timed, and a lot of the times when you're going up against wall breaker decks, you're not going to be able to have that luxury. So it is definitely difficult to counter
That
the wall breakers
luxury.
and counter everything else in the deck at the
That
same time.
luxury is
And so
crazy
part of it is
thing
just
to
straight up,
say.
oh, there's so many counters to wall
Wow.
breakers, but also, will I have those counters available when dealing with a wall breaker Evo deck that also has so many other spam cards or bait cards in it? The answer, usually no, and these things can also be used on defense. A little bit of personal bias mixed into this one, but
Yeah, this card is so underrated. This card is disgustingly underrated. It's never in the balance changes. It never gets nerfed. It never gets buffed. It is the most awkward card in all of this game to play into. There's not a
Executioner.
single game that I want to play into an Evo X. Like, not a single one. It's just so awkward to play into it. Every time I play against it, I end up just going other lane from it, and then I just lose.
but not that much, okay? The Evo XC is a complete defensive, like, unit. This thing knocks things back. He does bonus damage.
Yeah.
He will...
Because, like, the only cards that do good against the XE is melee cards. But when it's an Evo X, it has a knockback, so, like, the melee just cancels out. Like,
Yeah.
this
Facts.
card never
Facts.
gets talked about. It's
Facts.
so
Facts. Facts. Facts.
If
Facts.
you, again, if you're looking for an Evo, your deck's defense is pretty flimsy, get this. This Evo is insane.
will clog the entire lane up by himself and deals with insane like sizes of pushes, not even using NATO. But of course, XE decks usually have NATO in them because
Yeah,
the
make sure you have
synergy is
NATO.
just that good. And so you're going to be able to just play incorrectly, not have any problems with any single push in the entire game. Evo X is going to get you out of crazy situations.
Wow.
Also on offense, all he needs to do is get a little bit close to the front of the bridge. With the NATO, with the lineup, he's going to be hitting that tower as well. So it's really hard to also
Very
counter
good
him on
ranking
offense, but he's
on
getting
this.
that bonus damage and getting bonus interactions that he...
Facts, baby. Facts. The XZ is so good.
The Hoggies come in at number 6.
Yeah, bro. The Hogs.
Big reason for this is they're really finicky interaction with buildings when they're in the air. So usually the building placement you'll play for the normal Royal Hogs does not work for the Evo Royal Hogs, and 2 or more of them will split and go directly to that tower. Not to mention they do have the impact damage, which is going to let them not only kill buildings easier, but if they get to the tower, deal more tower damage. And that can be just make or break what wins you the entire game with Hoggies decks, because you're not going to have that 3-card cycle benefit from a lot of the decks that Hoggies were the win con in. So you're going to have tons of success with the Evo Hoggies, and people are really underrating them. They're really, really strong, especially because of the reasons I mentioned. And although they're not the most flashy Evo of all time, they're very, very good. Royal Giant is having one of its best metas in a very long time. Last season was one of them. This continues this season, and Royal Giant is just, you know,
Wow.
Evo, flat out the Evo. If we were ranking the strength of every single Evo, regardless of the card, which I feel like is stupid.
Look, bro, all you gotta say is when we watched CRL Worlds 2 months ago, it was used in probably 80 to 90% of the best of threes. Like, the best players in the world with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line use this card in 80 to 90% of the best of threes.
Mmm.
To do.
Clock it.
It
Period.
high up because all he does is stomp the ground, right? But he's great.
I'm so excited to see
Right now, especially
the
with,
the 5th ranking one.
to it, is a
The
staple
rank
of
5.
Royal Giant deck. His stomp will allow you to win entire games because if you think about it, there are Royal Giant games where the majority of them are played
Oh, he's
all the
stomping.
way
I
out
didn't
to
even know that.
overtime. They
Oh.
you win based off a little couple hundred damage or something like that, and you're going to be able to get bonus hits because of the Royal Giant knocking things off of him. All you need sometimes is that one Royal Giant hit to win you the game. He will do that with the Evo. He's really strong in the meta, makes him a top 6 Evo in the game. Now, Skeleton Army, I hope you haven't had to
Score
deal with
me.
this, and you might be like, what the hell is the Skelly Army doing at the top 5? I have seen, like, over time, I was a Skarmy doubter too, and then I saw that, you can literally place this thing so it's like impossible to deal with the General Larry. You can just trap General Jerry. Astaghfirullah, forgive me. He just sits behind things. It's impossible to kill him without committing both of your spells, and if you're not playing a deck with multiple splash units or multiple things, you're going to have to deal with other stuff similar to the wall breakers while you're dealing with General Jerry.
We're in the top 5 now. This card, it got nerfed 2 hours ago. This card's still gross. Like, they slowed down the speed of it, especially like in mid-lap, like 9K trophies, 8K trophies. Like, players are not going to have a singular clue how to defend against this. They're just going to get to the ground.
You can't kill General Jerry. You have infinite skeletons.
The only responsibility you have as the player of the Evo Scarming is to protect the general. That is literally it.
Yeah.
So you can throw all of like everything at but the kitchen sink in front of this guy. If you keep him alive, you win. It's like that's it.
And the thing the general, hold up. The thing is that the general has a shield as well.
Yes, you're gonna have such a hard time dealing with this card in the majority of times.
It has a shield as well.
You have really good splash, or your opponent doesn't know how to play them. But if you're going against a good opponent with a lot of pressure, this card is a nightmare. Your favorite cannon blazer is here and back to put the cannon once again inside the top 4 because it's a really strong building used in almost every cycle deck. Can be used in other decks as well. Just gets crazy value because you can use a defensive building on offense. You can get knockback. You can play
Look at this.
defense to kill things at the bridge. You can play a high up to kill things.
Look at that.
You can just get so much value out of a building that already gets a ton of value every time it's played. The barrage
Oh no, he
is
missed.
effective at clearing out areas, getting that knockback, getting extra bonus damage. Can bail you out of maybe being able to use a spell on offense instead of on defense. It's just a really, really strong Evo. At number 3, we have our Baby Dragon, which is strong in mainly beatdown decks.
The baby dragon made it to the top 3. I'll eat my mustache. What the fuck?
I wouldn't. For me, it's good, but
Not only has that insane speed buff, right, but also not even just talking about how strong the speed buff is and how much it can just win you games straight up. The slow field, it can bail you out of crazy defenses just based off the slow field. And although it did get that big nerf to make the
so what has he not said here? He hasn't said 2 cards.
Right. Yeah, the Valkyrie and the Gust, the Royal Gust.
You are going to still get crazy value on both defense and offense every single time you play this card, unless you just waste it. And even if you waste it, there's still an opportunity to get value with it on the offensive boost. I'm keeping the Valkyrie as a top 2 Evo in Clash Royale. She's in
Now, if you want to talk about a card, and I've said this for probably coming up on 8 months now, a card that is an absolute epitome of a bailout, it's this card. Like, bro, there's been so many scenarios where I'll be up like 5 elixir, I'll have some big game-winning push, and then my opponent who's like slobbering on his iPad will just put down the Evo Valk and literally defend everything. It's so stupid. It defends air and ground. The non-stop pullback mechanic is stupid. You can put down a hog and get no damage. This card is broken.
Facts.
Strong on both offense and defense.
Also, the base Valkyrie
was
is
definitely
also good.
impactful, but she's still going to
Bro, look, she's...
so much value.
Look at the golem, bro. Look at the golem, bro.
Giant lava, golem, e-golem,
Look at the golem, man.
anything you name it is just really, really strong. And she also gets a buff by the fact that Royal Ghost is the best Evo in Clash Royale, and the best, one of the best counters to the Ghost Evo is the Valkyrie, even just the straight up normal Valkyrie. And the versatility of the Valkyrie, she allows to be fit in so many different kinds of decks, including beatdown, cycle, control. So there's tons of
Look at the golem, bro.
offensive and defensive, and she's the counter of the best Evo in the game. That's a pretty good, resume for top 2. Unfortunately, my Royal Ghost prediction did not come true. I was hoping he wouldn't be one of the best cards the game has ever seen. He was, in fact, and he has become a lot more harder to deal with than I thought he was, using a whopping 25% usage rate with still plus than 50% win percentage, which is insane if you think about it, because the ghosts are...
Dude, all you have to know about this card is like, CRO Worlds was 2 months ago. I don't think we watched a single best of 3 where both pros didn't use this card in these worlds. It was used, it honestly kind of ruined the event in my opinion, because of how stupid this card was on launch. They like launched this card like right before Worlds, made it completely
Ooh.
like totally shifted the meta, which is the most Supercell thing ever to just ruin the game right before Worlds.
Beating Extreme still plus 50 is insane. Like, the Royal
Yeah, the
Ghost is still
Valkyrie handles
crazy
that.
pressure. He did get a pretty solid nerf, but still, until we see that he visibly gets worse,
Dude,
the Guardians.
the Royal Ghost is like, it's a 3 elixir Evo, and if you ignore it, you literally lose your whole tower. It's like, I don't know of any
Facts.
other 3 elixir cards like that.
Facts.
Not even Skelly Barrel takes your whole tower. Maybe if it's Evo, it would take your whole tower. So I guess just Evo, Skelly Barrel, and Evo Ghost are probably the only 2 3 elixir cards where if you completely ignore them, you lose your whole tower.
Do
Wow.
50% less damage.
Well,
Let's
actually,
go.
you don't lose your whole tower with Ghost, but you lose like a lot.
Insanely broken.
Yeah, you lose about 3k.
Pressure, extremely easy to cycle. It's very easy to lose track of him too in the midst of defending everything else in the deck. And all he has to do is get onto the tower once, and you're going to lose because of a chip damage game in a lot of circumstances. Really, really strong Evo. The nerf was definitely good.
W video, bro. I think the only thing I disagree with is I think you put Baby Dragon too high up. It's a 2 cycle Evo, and the base Baby Dragon's not even that good to begin with. But that was a W video, bro. W video, like I said.
W video, as Jinxie says. W video, guys, and W Jinxie. W reaction for Jinxie.
For like a safe Evo to buy, I would go like Zap. If you want to get a really underrated Evo that kind of never gets nerfed, I would go with Eggsy. Eggsy's really underrated. Never gets nerfed, never gets buffed. Just so underrated. I'm glad he threw the Eggsy that high because I hate playing the Eggsy. But W video, bro.
W Jinxie, guys. Guys. W Jinxie, W video, W reaction. We love that. We love this. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Thank you guys. I love you. This was a crazy video. We're gonna be coming back again. And yeah, bro, I really wish I get a PC so like as far as possible so I can do crazy good live streams. But right now I can't get a PC. I'm so broke. I don't have money. So yeah, we're gonna be doing some stuff. Thank you guys. See you guys.